Incógnito do colégio falando, Sir... Incógnito do colégio, Sir Peter Marks falando. E hoje vamos para... Assistindo Porcaria, mas possivelmente ridiculamente questionável a webcam 5. Dia 3 de 3 de 2025. Boné do Pokémon. Peraí. Ai. Boné rasgado do Pokémon. Essa é a melhor parte. É tipo... Preciso colocar uns patch nesse troço aqui. Fazer um boné do Ash Crush Punk. Mas vai o boné Pokémon hoje. Não encontrei o chapéu de cowboy. Foda, né? Foda. Microfone. Luminária. Baquetas. Pandeiro. Trocar a baqueta que isso aqui entra farpa na mão. E eu tô indo ver um negócio aqui no celular. Excel. Tá, já viu o que é? Patch. Fui verificar onde pra colocar o patch disso aqui. Fiapo na boca. Alfinete é bom demais. Passou. Acho que eu vou comer mais um. Esse aqui tá zoadinho. Peraí, esse aqui tá bom. Idiotice. Quem tá assistindo porcaria são vocês. Tá, e vamos lá pro quarto. Depois eu tenho que pegar o do Crest pra colocar aqui na bermuda. Como deu pra ver pela foto lá, tipo, eu tô fazendo primeiro o lado direito inteiro da perna esquerda da bermuda primeiro, tipo. Aí depois eu faço da perna direita. Mas aí dos pets eu tô pensando em comprar um branco cadáver. Vou fazer um negócio aqui inteiramente em preto e branco. Tá aí. Vamos encontrar porcaria pra assistir. Onde que veio aquele estudo, porra? Aí, ó o mapa mundi ali atrás. Ó o mapa mundi ali, ó. Ali. É. Umas fotos velhas minhas ali atrás, ó. Pera aí. Aí. Agora tá pegando. Será que dá ruim ficar sem camisa? Tá aqui como pra garai, velho. Sei não, hoje é meio chato. Oh, inclusive, ó, isso aqui tá rasgando também. Aqui, tá vendo? Tá tudo rasgadinho aqui. Pô, falando. Pouco mais de um ano de uso já começa a rasgar. Hora de ativamente procurar a porcaria pra assistir. E de encontrar onde foi parar o carretel de linha branca, caralho. Cadê essa buceta? Uau! A gente não vai assistir porcaria agora? Na verdade, eu já assisti conteúdo de muita qualidade.
É carnaval, mas pode chamar de maratona.
Se prepara com Rexona, que não te abandona.
E aí, fanfarrão? Procura game!
Falando sobre o Oscar, pelo menos a gente ganhou o de melhor filme internacional. Devia ter ganhado os outros 3 também. Melhor atriz, melhor filme. Eu achei uma sacanagem a Demi Moore ou a Fernanda Torres não ter ganho o Oscar de melhor atriz. Eu não acho que aquilo lá foi justo, não. Não acho. Pô, é só um... É um plágio mais explícito de uma bela mulher. Uma linda mulher, falei errado. É um plágio mais explícito de uma linda mulher, que porcaria. Essa história aí não tem nada de original.
E acessórios? Então é a loja perfeita pra você. A Nova Era Games, pra você finalmente cestar direito com seus novos games e acessórios. Oh yeah. Os caras são tão awesome como eu, mas fazem o melhor preço. Porque eu não vendo nada mesmo. Você pode se inscrever no canal do YouTube deles e seguir a página do Instagram deles pra ficar por dentro de todas as novidades dos games e não perder mais nenhum. E depois ir na loja deles, que fica na Santa Virgínia, em São Paulo, Califórnia, Brasil. Ou viver no século XXI e comprar tudo pela internet e receber os seus jogos quando você menos espera. Oh yeah! A Nova Era Games é a loja que você... Peraí, essa loja é confiável? Se eu estou recomendando, então é claro que é confiável. Agora eu esqueci o que eu tava falando. Os links da loja estão nos comentários fixados desse vídeo. É só acessar lá e pagar quanto? Quer pagar quanto? Quer pagar quanto? Menos 0, né? Porque 0 não é o número, senão eu te dou um tiro.
Sejam bem-vindos ao Zerando 64, a série de desafio de zerar todos os jogos no Nintendo 64. São Francisco Rush Extreme Racing, pois tudo era extreme naquela época. Ele foi lançado em 1997 e zerei ele passando muita raiva em live na Twitch no canal Colônia Contra-Ataca Live em novembro de 2024. Rush é um jogo que joguei muito na época, foi um dos primeiros jogos de corrida 3D, de carro realista entre aspas, com cenário aberto que deixavam a gente explorar as cidades dos mapas. Eu adorava jogar esse jogo de 2 players e ficar brincando nas pistas, dirigindo na contramão, desviando dos ônibus e por aí vai. E tinha um monte de segredo espalhado pelo mapa pra gente ficar descobrindo, como as chaves que destrava carros secretos que estão espalhados pelo cenário. Mas lembro que mesmo aprendendo a jogar isso, eu nunca consegui ir longe na campanha, mesmo tentando multiplayer cooperativo, com um dos jogadores só atrapalhando os inimigos, por exemplo. A gente mal chegava em 4º lugar nas corridas, era frustrante. Então vamos descobrir hoje se eu e meu irmão que era ruim ou se um jogo que é impossível. Como dá pra ver, os gráficos são bem bons, os cenários são bem grandes e detalhados, com prédios, casas e outras estruturas bem diferentes uma das outras. É raro duas pistas parecerem iguais, apesar de tudo se passarem em São Francisco aqui. Bom, agora se é fiel à cidade de verdade, eu já não sei. Eu sou fudido demais pra ficar viajando assim, qual é? Os carros também são bem bonitinhos, eles não têm efeito de reflexo na lataria, só nas janelas, porém eles têm texturas bem detalhadas que ficam amassadas com as batidas. Isso era a coisa mais next gen daquela época. Todo mundo via esse jogo e falava: caralho, o carro fica amassado, não tem como videogames ficarem melhores que isso, hein? A performance também é muito boa, principalmente pelos gráficos detalhados desse jogo, cheio de árvores e casas. Tudo bem que o jogo tem uma neblina forte para esconder o draw distance, mas não chega a atrapalhar na gameplay. A neblina fica longe o bastante para você não bater em curvas surgindo no nada na sua cara, mas confesso que tira um pouco o paisagismo do jogo, já que não tem paisagens pra gente admirar por causa da neblina. Já as músicas são extremamente idiotas. A maioria é uns rockzinho meio dançante genérica. Mas também tem umas clássicas, como a música de escrever o seu nome depois da corrida, que ficam cantando What's your name? What's your name?
What's your name? What's your name?
Essa música é memorável pra caramba. Meus pais sempre davam risada do outro lado do cômodo quando tocava essa musiquinha. Durante o jogo você também pode escolher qualquer música no radinho dele, e tinha umas que eu fiz questão de tocar quase o tempo todo durante a minha zerada, que é uma que eles ficam cantando toda hora, mano, é muito bom.
Fusca azul? Eu não quis colocar azul porque o vidro é azul. What the f...
Pior que além dela ser engraçada com esses distorcido, ela é a maior música do jogo. Ela mal dá loop durante a corrida inteira, tem solo e até acelera, ficando mais biruta perto da última volta. É um colega streamer, o Edward the Cat, que reconheceu que usaram esses numa música de um Ragnarok, que eu nem sei qual que é. É engraçado achar esse sample em jogos diferentes. Os controles desse jogo não tenho muito do que falar, são básicos. Acelera, freia, vira com o analógico. A única coisa estressante aqui é que não tem drift e a curva é bem durona. Nunca parece que vai dar pra virar direito. Aqui você tem que aprender a fazer as curvas tipo NASCAR, corridas em pista oval. Se preparar muito antes da curva chegar e começar a virar bem antes do ponto. Demora muito pra acostumar, tive que seguir os bots na minha frente pra saber qual que era o momento certo pra começar a virar. Mas essas curvas durona nem é o problema do jogo. Pois ele tem a mecânica do carro explodir se você bater muito forte.
Ali é raso, eu não sabia, achei que ele ia morrer. Vou tentar pegar o atalho, só que direito dessa vez. Ô, Fusca, que isso? Do nada o carro começa a pular.
Pelo menos você revive logo em seguida, porém perde muita velocidade e os bots vão lá pra frente. Então você precisa rezar pra eles baterem alguma coisa e te dar chance de você vencer.
Nossa, nossa.
Meu Deus!
Quem morreu?
Mas já deu pra notar o que vai tornar essa zerada difícil, né? Eu morrendo e os bots me passando. Ah, vai ser uma maravilha. Mas vamos lá. Pra zerar esse jogo eu preciso finalizar o modo circuito. Nas opções eu deixei o mais padrão possível e na dificuldade normal. E agora temos que escolher o nosso carrinho. Eles são divididos por dificuldade de uso, tendo os iniciantes, avançados e o Extreme Dangerous. It's dangerous! Entendi que é difícil usar as Ferrari, mas não precisava gritar com o Serene na minha orelha. Poxa vida. Ou eu fui testando vários carros, os carros rápidos são caóticos demais, capotam muito mais fácil e não tem uma diferença de velocidade gritante contra os carros das máquinas. Eu até testei o Fusca, que foi nada mal, até consegui ganhar em segundo com ele, porém ainda não senti firmeza, ele capotava fácil demais. Então eu fiquei com esse carro velho vermelho que consegui pegar bem o controle dele e ele se recupera mais rápido depois de bater, pois ele tem mais aceleração. Porém, o jogo tava me deixando louco. Qualquer batidinha que eu dava, as máquinas me passavam muito, eles iam muito longe. Ou pior, qualquer derrapadinha a mais que eu dava, ou pisadinha na grama, pronto, já era o suficiente para perder 2 ou 3 posições para as máquinas. As pistas têm ordem aleatória, mas essa primeira que eu fui não tem curvas malucas, então os inimigos correm perfeitos demais, não cometem um erro.
Agora eu só não posso deixar ele passar. Tem que ficar olhando aquele retrovisorzinho estranho. Oh, meu Deus. Não! You fucking... No! You piece of shit!
Olha que ridículo, eu tava fazendo o melhor que eu podia na corrida, resetando várias vezes até masterizar 100% ela, sem bater nenhuma vez na parede, sem pisar na grama e sem derrapar demais. E bem no final, o bot rampou do nada e me passou pelo ar. Eu fiquei praticamente 2 horas tentando começar o circuito com o pé direito, resetando várias vezes até conseguir chegar em primeiro. E uma delas eu consegui ir perfeito mesmo, sem bater nenhuma vez, dirigi com classe e mesmo assim foi pescoço a pescoço com o bot. E isso é assustador, pois se na primeira corrida foi assim, então imagina o resto. Eu praticamente dei sangue pra ganhar em primeiro na primeira corridinha.
Sabe o quanto eu me sacrifiquei?
O chato é que são 24 corridas que eu tenho que jogar no circuito e o jogo só tem 6 pistas no total, então as pistas se repetem bastante na contramão e modo espelho. Isso pode fazer uma fase que era fácil se tornar difícil, por exemplo, só por estamos indo ao contrário, já que algumas curvas mudam e outras rampas acabam virando paredes até. A corrida 2 foi numa pista no meio da cidade com prédios e curvas mais fechadinhas. Eu resetei várias vezes até aprender a usar os atalhos sem capotar e parar de bater à toa nas paredes, mas consegui vencer em primeiro, pois os bots também batem de vez em quando. Porém eu não posso depender dos bots fazendo merda. Na corrida 4 eu fiquei tentando várias vezes por 3 horas. A pista é na praia, com vários ônibus passando, até lembra coisa de Burnout.
Esse Burnout tá meio... diferente mesmo.
A fase em si não é difícil, mas eu queria garantir posição boa por causa dos bots que são perfeitinhos demais. Principalmente se eu terminar melhor que os meus rivais, que estavam em segundo e terceiro no campeonato. Pra não chegar no final do circuito e eu perder em segundo lugar, por exemplo. Eu até comecei a usar trechos que são em contramão, pois era mais rápido. Aqui é meio livre, tipo Midnight Club ou corrida de GTA. Você pode fazer o seu próprio caminho. O ruim é que isso fazia os bots me atropelar nos cruzamentos.
Puta vida! Ok. Pelo menos não explodir nem nada, mas caralho, puta paulada.
Toda tentativa, algo ruim acontecia.
Aí forte também.
Até comecei a fazer maluquices que me fez atravessar o chão e descobrir um mundo secreto embaixo do mapa.
Caralho, tem um mundo embaixo? Que isso? Tem um mundo embaixo!
Isso é um segredo que tem no jogo. Dá pra chegar aqui por um túnel pra brincar nas rampinhas que tem lá embaixo. Não era pra eu ter chegado aí atravessando o chão, mas tudo bem. Mas enfim, eu consegui chegar em primeiro depois de ter ficado muito tempo puto da vida com o jogo me explodindo por qualquer motivo besta. Até o chat tomou porrada gratuitamente nesse dia. Desculpa, foi mal mesmo. A corrida 6 também foi punk, pois é numa pista que todas as curvas são fechadas em formato de L. Eu explodia em toda a esquina, até conseguir memorizar e aprender elas. Tem uns atalhos mó perigosos nesse jogo, mas sempre valem a pena, pois corta muito o caminho da pista, quando você vai nele sem morrer, é claro. Nessa altura do campeonato eu tava aceitando ficar em segundo lugar, mas isso aconteceu.
Eu aceito segundo, eu aceito segundo. Terceiro talvez não, mas segundo eu aceito.
Yes! Caralho! Yes!
Até fui passando outras corridas, chegando em terceiro, primeiro e em sétimo, só aceitando, pois os meus rivais estavam atrás de mim. Geralmente era o carrinho laranja e o azul, se eu não me engano. Mas, poxa vida, não tava dando pra continuar. A física desse jogo é muito ruim. Qualquer coisinha que você faz, você capota e explode.
Nossa, os caras explodindo? Tem que virar, fudeu.
Oh, que isso?
Pô, mas que controle eu tinha sobre a física horrorosa do jogo?
Então não dá nem pra confiar na própria gravidade do jogo. É muito paia explodir por causa de tolice e perder um monte de posição, enquanto os bots estão quase sempre de boas.
É tipo... Midnight Club ou postar corrida no GTA 4, sabe? A física GTA 4 pra corrida. E dependendo do que acontecer, você morre. Ah, tem que me jogar mais pro lado. Nossa, velho!
O pior de tudo é que se eu jogar bem e ganhar em primeiro, a dificuldade do jogo aumenta pro hard ou expert dinamicamente no meio do campeonato. Se eu ficar perdendo, ele também vai pro level mais fácil, ele pode chegar até no easy, mas aí eu vou estar perdendo, né? Jogar essa campanha manchou completamente o carinho que eu tinha por esse jogo. Eu só jogava na zoeira no multiplayer na época, e tentar jogar isso sério, suando sangue, mostra os defeitos dele. Até tem uns truquezinhos, como parar de acelerar nas rampas pra você voar menos, já que seu carro é de isopor e voa pra Uberaba, sem você ter controle nenhum no ar. Se o carro virou no céu, azar o teu, pois você vai dar de nariz no chão com certeza. Acho que é por isso que eu tô fanho até, eu tô gripado, desculpa. O jogo não te dá controle pra nada aqui, nem nas curvas. Se você ficar dando zigue-zague, você também pode capotar do nada. Se bater em você, você capota. Se você capotar, você capota também. Até as texturas da parede te enganam, igual o coiote dos Looney Tunes.
Eu estou num atalho aqui. Eu achei... Eu achei que era uma porta.
E nem adianta botar a culpa no meu carro velho, pois eu testei vários carrinhos no começo dessa gameplay e eles capotavam e explodiam do mesmo jeito. Eu joguei isso por 9 horas e só cheguei na corrida 11, faltavam mais 13 corridas ainda. E os bots estavam ficando cada vez mais difíceis quando eu ganhava, me fazendo perder, é claro. Bateu um desespero, pois eu poderia chegar em um checkmate no final do campeonato e perder jogando mais de 10 horas da minha vida no lixo. E foi aí que eu desisti dessa tentativa que já estava zicada, com muitas derrotas.
Se prepare porque vem emoção pela frente, pode ter certeza. Jogos marcantes, jogos grandes, grandes clássicos do futebol do Brasil. Tantas decisões, tantos heróis, tantas páginas incríveis, viradas, gols. E as torcidas não param.
As próximas coisas que eu vou comprar, eu acho que eu peguei tudo na Retrocon, se eu não me engano. Um baita evento de jogos retrôs que teve em 2024, vai ter outro em 2025. Aí, eu vi isso aqui em formato de voz, só pra avisar vocês que a Retrocon já começou a vender os ingressos. E eu tenho aqui pra vocês um cupom de desconto de 10%. Se você usar o cupom Colônia10, você consegue garantir o seu ingresso mais barato. Então não perca essa chance, já garanta o seu ingresso com o cupom e a gente se vê no evento, hein? Vejo vocês por lá. O panfleto tem um espaço para assinatura dos youtubers e eu tô aqui aí no final, porque eu sou o pior de todos. Se você for na Retrocon desse ano, pega o panfleto e pede pra gente autografar o panfleto pra você marcar toda a figurinha e depois vender por milhões de dólares ou não, sei lá. O link do site dele está no comentário fixado desse vídeo.
E eu fui nas opções ver o que mais dava pra mudar e vi a opção de morte permanente. Eu não tava muito confiante, pois eu morro por qualquer coisinha aqui nesse jogo, porém os bots também morriam sem querer. Então eu comecei uma nova campanha do zero, com um carro preto agora, pois estamos trevoso. Primeira corrida eu fui devagarinho, andando na pontinha do pé pra eu não morrer sem querer, até que algo incrível enfim aconteceu.
Para! Bater em mim, eu quero ver o caos de vocês, não comigo. Olha lá. É isso que eu quero. Um cara só reviveu antes de explodir.
Yes! Os bots morreram aos montes e não voltam mais na corrida. E depois disso, mais alguns ainda foram de base.
Opa! Não vi quem foi, mas alguém morreu.
E quem disse?
Eu acho que foi um azul escuro.
Eu tava tão feliz que com isso eu explodi sem querer e fiquei em quarto lugar, pois todo o resto dos jogadores estavam mortos. Então eu continuei. A terceira corrida foi numa pista difícil e quase todos os bots morreram também. Dá pra ver pelo pontinho deles parado no mapinha que são onde os caras morreram, é um cemitério de carro. Nisso eu fiquei só com 2 carinha que sobraram, que pude andar devagarinho, admirando a paisagem até deixar o tempo acabar de propósito, pois quando o tempo do jogo acaba, eu termino na posição que eu tô no momento. Assim, quando acaba em primeiro lugar, eu termino em primeiro lugar a corrida. E é esse o truque, ou queijo, que a gente vai usar até o final agora. Haha, levei vantagem, jeitinho brasileiro? Não sei, fala a verdade. A corrida 4 foi outra que todo mundo morreu sem eu nem perceber já na primeira rampa da pista. Nem a máquina consegue tancar a física fodida desse jogo. Assim eu pude só estacionar e deixar o tempo acabar pra eu terminar a corrida em primeiro lugar. E foi indo tudo assim, eu andava com mais cuidado, só esperando os bots explodir por alguma tolice. Às vezes eu mesmo tentava matar eles e às vezes conseguia até. Eu acho que eu fudi o laranja! Ok.
Eminentes. Eu matei aquele verde. Eu matei o verde.
Então até pude terminar em quinto, quarto, terceiro e segundo lugar, pois os meus rivais não ficavam mais vivos com tanta frequência. Parece que alguns corredores desse jogo eram mais imprudentes que outros. Tipo, se a pista é cheia de curvas fechadas, os caras que correm mais rápido tendem a bater com mais frequência. Já nas pistas que as curvas são abertonas, os caras que correm rápido sempre acabam ganhando. Então meio que eu não tinha sempre os mesmos rivais. Meus rivais ficavam mudando toda hora, basicamente, pois eles ficavam morrendo toda hora. Isso fazia o cara que tava em segundo lugar no campeonato ficar em último, porque ele foi o primeiro que explodiu às vezes. E isso acabou virando São Francisco Rush Casual Racing. Nada extremo, totalmente prudente. E na moral, o jogo até ficou mais gostoso assim. Eu não tava mais explodindo à toa em toda a santa curva, principalmente pois eu podia frear nelas agora. Já que antes, se eu desse um toquinho minúsculo no freio, eu já perdia uma ou duas posições para as máquinas, que se explodiam renasceu na minha frente. O modo morte permanente mudou completamente o jogo, até ficou parecido com as corridas do Carmageddon, que você também ganha se terminar sendo o único cara vivo da pista. Apesar que mesmo assim o jogo não foi às mil maravilhas, pois é claro que a máquina trapaceava atravessando paredes.
E ele não morreu. Vocês viram isso? O boss atravessou a parede e não morreu.
Pô, que chinelagem, a máquina atravessando a parede sem morrer. E olha que isso aconteceu mais de uma vez, viu? A partir da corrida 18, eu tava bem suave no campeonato. Não tinha mais como eu perder por pontos. Mas mesmo assim, eu tentava terminar as corridas bem. E até acabei terminando uma delas do jeito mais exagerado possível. Veloz e furioso aqui com The Rock e Dwayne Johnson.
Pulei no lugar errado.
Oh!
Mas é primeiro...
Na última corrida eu joguei na bobeira, pois eu tava com 30 pontos à frente de todo mundo no campeonato, mas acabei me explodindo e terminando em sexto lugar. E com isso, finalmente, venci essa desgraça. Vemos a taça com os balãozinhos 8 bits voando e uma música toda feliz. E o jogo mostra que destravamos o carro de Fórmula 1. Não aparece créditos depois disso, pois ele já está na tela de abertura do jogo. Então, é isso. Jogo zerado. Eu levei 14 horas pra zerar isso. Mas a física horrorosa desse jogo fez eu ficar preso 9 horas só na primeira tentativa. E depois levei 4 horinhas na segunda tentativa com o modo de morte permanente. É bizarro. É um jogo todo arcade da zoeira, porém com bots profissionais de Gran Turismo. Não ornou muito bem, principalmente pois você sempre morre à toa com a física torta nesse jogo. Depois de zerar, eu testei o carro novo que eu destravei e alguns códigos de trapaça meio bobinhos. Como mudar a cor na neblina, emocionante. Mas talvez a coisa mais legal a se fazer agora que eu conheço as fases é explorar o cenário e entrar naquele mapa que encontrei embaixo da fase, atravessando o chão. Ou um super looping que tem uma das fases que você tem que pular numa ponte destruída e pode brincar nesse loop até você explodir sem querer. Agora sim, isso é extreme. Porém, São Francisco Rush Extreme Racing não é extreme o suficiente para receber uma nota maior que 6 de 10. Com medalhinha legal, só pela exploração do multiplayer. Os gráficos são muito bons, as músicas meio toscas, mas divertidas, principalmente a do... performance também é ok e aguenta bem com tela dividida para 2 jogadores no multiplayer, mas, cara, é doloroso zerar isso. Esse jogo era um dos meus favoritos da infância. Eu preferia bem mais Rush do que Cruising ou Top Gear, mas nesse desafio eu me diverti muito mais no Cruising e no Top Gear. O Rush funciona melhor como um party game da zoeira, com a galera bebendo cerveja e batendo o carro. No jogo, não na vida real, pelo amor de Deus. Fazendo manobras radicais ou explorando os mapas com um amigo. Os cenários são bem complexos, virando mini open world já nessa época. Se for ver bem, é o mais próximo de um driver que tivemos no 64. Agora, jogar a campanha a sério é uma experiência miserável. Nem pela dificuldade da máquina, que é perfeita, pois dá pra aprender e ganhar dela na unha. Mas a física quebrada que te fazendo explodir à toa, na maioria das vezes, arregaça a dificuldade desse jogo. Você quase nunca tem um controle nesse jogo. Você capota por nada, só porque o jogo decidiu que você vai capotar. O que é hilário no multiplayer, né? Ver o amiguinho capotando e dar risada da besteira que ele fez. Mas é horrível no single player. Pelo menos eu sei que isso é um defeito que os desenvolvedores ficaram cientes, pois isso foi corrigido no Rush 2 e Rush 3, que saíram mais tarde por Nintendo 64. Nos próximos jogos podemos controlar o carro no ar para endireitar ele para ele não cair de ponta cabeça sempre, evitando capotadas aleatórias por causa da gravidade lunar que esses jogos têm. Tô ansioso para jogar os próximos Rushes e talvez vou enterrar essa fita aí do Rush 1 numa praça e esquecer que ela existe, pois na moral, tenho zero vontade de voltar a jogar isso de novo. E esse foi o último jogo zerado no desafio. Se você curtiu o vídeo, dê o seu like, pois ajuda demais, e se inscreva no canal para não perder os próximos episódios. Depois assista a série na playlist Zerando 64 para maratonar tudo.
To carry those motherfuckers around too, because guess what? Sometimes you gotta just beat a kid. For being disobedient, did a kid walk in front of you? Time to pull out that rod. There's even mention of spanking for children as young as 6 months old, stating that use of the rod can teach them to sit still while being changed. Beating a 6-month-old baby will teach them to be still, because babies' brains work like that. God, I can't wait for the apocalypse. Oh, I can't wait for the apocalypse. Stop moving! As a child, you cannot even play pretend without receiving a beating. According to a forum member, this is seen as entering the unseen realm, which indicates you are being influenced by Satan. You want to play as Iron Man? You're talking to Satan. You deserve to be beaten. One ex-member told reporters that his childhood was hell. He would be beaten bloody until he was on the verge of collapsing. He stated that his only goal as a child was to stay alive till the next day. My God. Another member stated that she would be beaten sometimes for up to 4 hours, and that she had known other members for being beaten for 8 hours straight.
Do you hit children with bamboo rods?
We are always gentle with our children.
How do you have that much time on your hands? Exactly. You're making cold cut sandwiches, and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a quick 8-hour break and beat the shit out of my kid. And not only are the children physically abused, but they are often manipulated emotionally to break down their self-esteem and gaslight them into thinking that there's no hope for them outside the 12 tribes community. Just cute, cold shit. This has been a problem dating all the way back to 1984, when police raided their compound over rumors of child abuse. The police did raid, they took all the kids, and then they had to give back all the children to the abusive 12 tribes community because it was like an unlawful raid. Now we're gonna go into their controversies. Right? That's weird, they have controversies, right? And let me tell you, the list of controversies goes on and on and on and on and on. Which, you know, rampant misogyny. They believe that women should be 100% subservient to men. Their roles are reduced to bearing children and physically disciplining them. Advocation of slavery. My boy Yonek believed that the Bible sanctions the act of slavery, meaning it is completely acceptable. He is quoted as saying this, quote, and I quote, this is a quote, "Slavery is the only way for some people to be useful in society." My boy Yonek is playing with some fire, for real. Oh God, do I have to read this? The quote! Quote, this is a direct quote from Yonek's teachings. "It is horrible that someone would rise up to abolish slavery. What a marvelous opportunity that blacks could be brought over here to be slaves so that they could be found worthy of the nations." Yonek was not a fan of MLK. Let's just say that. Yonek, if you haven't noticed by now, not the greatest guy. Dare I say, not a good guy. I mean, there's anti-Semitism in the 12 tribes, and then they're known for being very anti-Semitic based on their belief that Jews murdered Christ. That's odd. That's crazy. The white nationalist cult that runs a yellow deli they don't like Jews very much. Okay. Even child labor. An Inside Edition hidden camera investigation revealed that child labor laws were being violated. In one instance, 12 minors were working in factories and farms. We got to get those 16 hours in somehow, dude. We got to get it, man. Yeah, how much ham we have to cut for all of our locations. We cut a lot of ham. And more child abused. In 2013, RTL journalist Wolfram König infiltrated the German commune in Bavaria. During his short time there, he recorded 50 beatings and presented the footage in a film documenting the experience. Because of this, German police raided 2 separate communities and removed 40 children in order to prevent further child abuse. They were temporarily put in foster homes. What's crazy about the 12 tribes things, always how these cults somehow make themselves worldwide somehow. How the f do they get all the way over there, dude?
They're deli.
They're a deli. It's easy to just be like, we're a delicious deli. I don't know. How's your day going, by the way? Well, I don't know. Like, my mom's really sick. You know, we have like a group that talks. You know, you get sucked in that easy. One of the weirdest forms of recruitment was during the Grateful Dead tour during the 80s. They had a crazy, not gonna lie, okay, I hate to say it, but the bus is really cool. I have never heard of this. It seems like they have a shit ton of money. They don't pay any of their delis, and they probably charge it's like a art house. It's like, you know, like, you do an art district. It's like none of your art friends or like any of your cool friends like, I don't want to go to Red Robin. I want to go to someplace local. And then they upcharge the out of you, and you're like, that was pretty mediocre. Oh, it's good stuff, man. That's how they get the people in.
They also have a factory where they sell like packaged goods.
Of course they have a factory.
We don't use children in our factories. We don't have factories.
We have videotape of it, sir. Yes, you do. You have a factory right over here. It's a soap factory. And aren't you selling your soaps and lotions to major retailers? Are they aware that you're using child labor?
We don't use child labor.
Child labor, dude. If you're a cult already and you're like, we're doing illegal shit already, get the factory and put the kids in there. Why not? You got to. That's just good business. The 12 tribes modified a stylish bus named the Peacekeeper. That's so good. And they would follow the Grateful Dead around during their tour. I like how, of course, the Yellow Deli is formed on dead heads, basically. They welcomed anyone aboard the bus and offered medical assistance to those that were lost, drunk, or simply interested in seeing the impressive vehicle. Me. I'd be that. I'd be all of those. I'd be lost, drunk. I'd be like, oh my god, can I see? Can I check it out? Yeah, they just immediately shut the door. No! Of course, the real reason for this was to preach the gospel and gather new members that would drive directly to the commune after convincing them to join. Take a seat, buddy. Welcome to the family. They would purposely prey on drug addicts and homeless people who were easier to persuade. Of course you would, dude. Free labor? Come on. And they're getting free meals. They're like, I'm happy to work for it. You know what I mean? It's f***ed up. But Yonek, aka Eugene Spriggs Jr., died in 2021 at the ripe old age of 83. His cult still operates perfectly fine without him as they continue to grow with over 3,000 members. That's got to be more than Scientology.
No, Scientology's...
Really? I thought Scientology was diminishing.
Oh, well, maybe they were lying about the numbers.
But what's his number? Was I off? I was probably off. And yes, the Yellow Deli is still around. In fact, there's one location just a few hours from me. I might just have to go down there and investigate it myself. Try some of that delicious food. See if I can't get on the back, dude. The thing is, if I wore spy glasses, it'd be so obvious. Could you preach the gospel to me, please? Could I have a rod? There's a kid outside who skateboarded over me. But for now, that is the terror of the Yellow Deli cult. They're the 12 tribes cult, basically. It's fucking crazy that this thing's even real. I had no idea that this was even a thing, and I'm glad to see it blowing up. I'm curious to see where it'll be moving forward. Will this even be affected? Will people even care? Maybe the food's too good, Nick. I just get my meatball sub and I leave. Who knows? Should we go down and check it out? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Quando você conecta seu alarme Verisure, sua casa fica protegida contra roubo. Protegemos todos os acessos à sua casa, com sensores avançados em portas e janelas para detectar o ladrão antes que ele entre. E em caso de intrusão, respondemos dentro de 60 segundos. Em nossa central de monitoramento, capturamos imagens do intruso.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as I said at the very start of the stream, Doom has returned because Doom The Dark Ages is coming out this year. So, I said this before, we're gonna play the Doom Art Gallery mod, but unfortunately, I can't get it to stream for some reason. It's a standalone EXE, and it has no OpenGL like thing in it that allows OBS or XSplit to capture it. So, unfortunately, I really want to check that out, but apparently it's very short anyway. So this hopefully makes up for it. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a bunch of very, very, very interesting WODs here of varying quality. And this probably be a longer series because I miss Doom, man. It's been a few years since I did the Doom mapping competition, and you know, at the time I was quite burnt out on Doom because I'm like, Jesus Christ, I played so many WODs. Like I was starting to see Doom in my dreams. But now that I'm a little refreshed after like the last competition, I figured, you know what, let's go back and play some fucking WODs, man. Some old school Doom, man. I love this stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. A lot of Doom throughout the year, I think I'm gonna do. And, yeah. Let's see here. Did you see the Devil May Cry show opening?
Mas
That's
não
linked.
fala nada sobre esses cultos pra não acabar lá, tipo aquele lá, pra não acabar suando. Foda-se, eu vou. Esse tipo de merda tinha que ir todo mundo preso e executado, porra.
That's good. I have been informed many times, yes. I mean,
Tirando das crianças.
it's fitting. I mean, Dante, it's like Devil May
Assim, prende todo mundo, executa os líderes, esse tipo de culto, acabou. Não é tão difícil assim.
Cry's early 2000s, and you know, Dante's coolness is the fact that he's like unaware that he's not actually cool. He eats pizza and does backflips. I mean, it's very fitting. I think it's great. This is what it should be. I couldn't have picked a better music choice, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back now. If you probably missed out on what just happened, we reacted to the Devil May Cry anime opener, and we did not at all shitpost throughout it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. The Limp Bizkit in it was apt as fuck. Anyway, back to what matters here. We are going to be playing a bunch of Doom WODs, and we have a bunch, actually. We have a bunch to check it out. We're going to check out this guy right here. First of all, this is called Golden Souls. Looks pretty interesting, whatever it is. Holy shit, what the hell? Is this Mario? I had no idea what this is. Doom 2, The Golden Souls. What am I hearing? Wow. Wow. Is this like Shy Guys? Wow. Alright, Star Child, Astral Rookie, Space Marine, Galactic Veteran, Starman, Soaring Comet. I'm gonna see what the fuck this is first. Oh, the Temptation. Alright. Well, this looks pretty cool. Okay, my house. Oh. Sup, man?
We are repairing your house. Please come back later.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna guess that if it's a platform, I'm allowed to jump.
I hit my finger with a hammer, now my poor thumb looks like a cacodemon. Punted 5 wood planks to cover the hole instead of repairing the whole wall, man. They don't pay us enough.
Okay.
When in doubt, use duct tape.
Sometimes we just want to stare at what we accomplished.
Okay. Press the use key. Alright. Okay. Oh, this is like the world map. Okay, I see. Green plains. Killer plants must sprout to attack you, revealing their weak spot. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. It's been a few, not a few years since the last Doom mapping competition, but I'm gonna go get right back into it. Alright. Get a little bit of that. Can I climb here? No, okay. Picked up a clip. Challenge Simple Flips on speed. Know this? When I meet Simple Flips in March... Hang on, I gotta turn down the volume on this thing a little bit. Guess what I'm gonna do? I wanna see proof that the guy is as good as he claims at Mario 64, okay? I'm gonna put a controller in his hands and be like, alright, you do it in person! I don't believe it. Is it still loud as fuck, by the way? I can't really tell. Okay, can I climb up here? Yes, I can. Reloading in Doom feels weird as hell. Like, you know. Oh, watch out for the plant! I'm just the green mean mother from outer space. I'm bad. Okay. A little bit of this, a little bit. Probably should bind the reload here, but I think it's fine. Okay. Yeah, this looks pretty cool so far. Little Mario thing. Okay, I'm gonna ask an embarrassing question. This music is from RPG, right? Because I've played that one probably the least Mario game. Yes, yes. Okay, at least my osmosis works, you know. All right, there's no point in me wasting ammo on these guys. I'm just gonna keep on going here. Get my coins. Oh, that's checkpoint. All right, I guess we are fucking doing this. All right, little jump. Jesus Christ, you really jumped like Mario in this. Okay. Shotgun. All right, cool. Oh, what, you catch the shells mid-air? What am I, Dante? How ironic, huh? It makes you really feel like the duper Mario. What is that noise? What you do? Gore Mario is back, boys. Alright, now, if this follows video game logic... Boo, boo, illogical, okay? Alright, and you want me to go up here, but... for a second I thought I was gonna need to, like, wall jump. There's something behind? Oh, I see it, I see it. Okay. It always feels a little weird when you are climbing on, like, 2D sprites in Doom, you know? This is Golden Souls 2, though. Should I know what that means? But this is the sequel, yeah, I didn't play the original. Okay, how the fuck do I get up there, man? I'll go here instead, I guess. Swim up the river, maybe? I'll try. That doesn't make any sense, but... no, I can't do that. Okay. Salmon Doom. I did have some salmon for dinner, actually. Salmon's great, but, dude, whenever you cough, there's like the salmon swims upstream in your throat. Like, you can't get rid of the flavor. Not that I don't enjoy it, but... you know what I mean? It's like onions. Semen. Yeah, that's right. Alright, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Okay, cool. I love the shotgun reload here. It's very fun. Alright. Who would have thunk it that a game from '93 is still so beloved today? I mean, yeah, it's because also people can mod it so easily. But, Jesus Christ, this game is as old as I am, you know? But then again, you can make the same argument for Mario, I guess, you know? Alright, so... that leads there. That's the guy over there. So what the fuck do we do here? Oh, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. What's popping over here, gamer? You know what disgusts me to my core? People who play old school Doom with a crosshair. Ugh! Alright, how dare you play the game you want to play it, right? Disgusting. There we go. Alright, a little shotgun ammo. We'll take that. You know, I'm gonna go into having always run on because I keep holding down shift here. Let's see here. That will be... is that in customized controls? Where is it again? Jesus, it's been a while. Is it mouse options? No, that's just free look. Player setup. No, that's not it either. Miscellaneous options. It's gotta be controls, right? Inventory, map controls, actions. I think I can just plus caps lock it as all. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, holy shit! Oh my goodness! Look at that. Discovered by on pure accident. I fuck these guys getting through here. And that is map number 1. Or is it? There's more to it. Okay, okay. Maybe that opens up a bridge or something. Okay. Please play Quake 1 sometime soon. Quake 1 is so great, and like, because if you don't know the story of Quake, it's basically it was John Carmack and the company playing D&D, and they basically took their ideas during the session and made like, all right, let's make an FPS out of this. A lot of the ideas from Quake 1, like ideas, didn't fully manifest, but like a lot of the creativity in it, you know. But oh yeah, I can do that too. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right, now we can return. Jumping in Doom. All right, now I gotta get over there, but how? There's gotta be some way. I did press some sort of key. All right. Would you be interested in playing the first Far Cry game? It's kind of wild. Oh yeah, the first Far Cry game, man. You know what game people sleep on? Far Cry 2. All right, the malaria simulator. Okay. I feel like lately people have been claiming that Far Cry 2 is the better game to Far Cry 3, which kind of was the Black Album of the series. And if you don't understand that reference, don't worry about it.
Oh.
But I'll explain it to you. Okay. Okay, the Black Album of something is basically super success, but everything after it had to be the same thing, okay? It's a Metallica reference.
E assim, e medíocre, né? Tem que ser igual e medíocre.
This again. Oh, sorry, I'll shut the fuck up then. I shouldn't waste entire double barrels worth. Metallica fan. What game is the Lulu? The Lulu is like, I don't know, Devil May Cry? You know, the American one? Nobody likes it. And the people that do are lying to themselves. So Far Cry 6 is Saint Anger. Yeah, we're doing Metallica comparisons, I guess. Now we're gonna go in here. I guess there's something behind here. Oh, nothing, okay. Hey, watch this. Gotta have him, boys. Oh, no imp surprise? Okay. Level completed. Music is a little quiet, but it's good. It's good, I like it. You don't play enough Mario WODs, and this is one of them. This kind of makes me want to play a little bit of, what do you call it? Groovy Grotto. Mario Party. Water Cave. Yeah, let's do the water level, man. When I saw the name of this, I don't know why, I thought it was going to be Sonic at first, but I got the complete reversal of it. Can you also play My House.wad? I feel like every single person on the planet has played it now. So I'll always be retreading old territory, because people have like disassembled it, theories and all that stuff. I'm just going to be like, alright, where do I get to shoot the imp in the ass? You know? Like, you just pick your streamer of choice. They've probably played it except me, alright? I'm too late to it, so, oh my god. We got that Mario 2 stanking up in this. Fuck was that? What was that? Those are the Shy Guys, okay. Murdering the Shy Guys. I guess Mario 2, okay. Why the fuck has Nintendo used Wart in any other game besides like 2 and Link's Awakening? Because like, I know some people claim it's like Fuji TV owns those characters, but that's not true. I mean, Shy Guys? Bombs? He sucked, he died. So you're saying that the way he dies in Mario 2 is canon? No coming back from that. All the little guys, like, destroy him completely. Down to the bones. Alright. Jesus. Okay. They don't need him, they have Bowser. Yeah, but... Listen, here's what I feel. Bowser's been palling up with Mario way too much. They go fucking golfing, they go Mario Karting, alright. We need a bad guy in Mario nowadays. It's like, they just going through the motions every day. It's like, you want to kidnap Prince Peach? Alright. Pay me $5. They go fucking, they go sucking. Okay. Bowser was killed down to the bones too. No, that was fake Bowser. Okay. There we go. A door, you say? Oh, shit. Right. A little mix up of various Mario things here.
I tend to rather like it.
When I was a kid, I never collected coins in Mario because I thought it was just stupid. Like, I didn't have a concept of, like, you know, eventually you get a 1-up. I'm like, what's the point? It's not like real money. Okay, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Such a like thick sound. Boom, you know. I still have this idea in my head. I want to have a video game where the guns are as loud as they are in real life. And I guess I could do that. You would just go into sound settings, go into sound, and like just take down everything but the gun. I know a lot of people say, oh, you just play black. Yeah, black is very like cinematic, but doesn't really have that holy shit, you know. Hearing damage. No, I'm not gonna do it, guys. It's fine. Is this saying Mario? Okay, but I'm not Mario. I'm the Doom guy. I'm John Stalvern. Is that Big Bertha? Or, I guess. You just play Escape from Tarkov with max volumes on your headphones. GG ears. Could you imagine saying, like, I can't hear anything? You go to the doctor, and, like, video games destroyed my hearing. Alright, I've been to war, man. I was playing Arma 3, and I used to blast it so loud that I can't hear what you're saying, man. That guy's gonna live with those wounds. Okay. It's very nice level design here, too. What the fuck is that? Who are you? Okay, whatever you are, you're dead now. Oh, shit in the way. Wait, do I have, like, I gotta get out of here to regain my health? My breath? Oh, shit. Water cave. Alright, speedrun. Just gonna get right the fuck out of this, okay? I just speed boosted on top of the cactus demon. Thanks, man. Oh, shit, okay. Alright, there's a little careless platform in here, but, it works. Okay. Have you met Toad? What? Personally? What do you mean? I think there was something more to that chat comment, but I kind of just skimmed over it. No, I haven't met Toad. Spiritually I have, but, you know. Okay. Joel, you are a comfort streamer. No, I'm a discomfort streamer, man. You listen to streamers who do ASMR? I do BDSMR. I used to, like, yell the fuck out of your ears, you know? That's the way I came from, fuck. Torture streamer. Yeah, ever seen me interact with Mike?
Eu vou ter que fechar esse bolso depois.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Thank you. And we are out of here. Or are we? So I don't know a lot about guns, but I have to ask. Going through Half-Life logic, could a gun fire underwater? It can't, right? I mean, that's why they have harpoon guns. Right? Yeah, some can. What's the definition? The gunpowder? Caveats? With caveats? Certainly, some guns can. Okay, we're gonna go through here. So what's down here? A little bit of this. I wonder what the limit here is for. Oh shit! Oh shit! This is bad. I don't have a lot of health here. Fuck. I'm gonna make a quick save. Because yeah, I don't want to like bitch out to him, but alright, I'm just gonna make a new one. Guys, I have a stupid question. What the fuck is the quick save, quick load for this? Is it... F6. Okay, well, there we go. So, now it's gonna be ass. Okay, we gotta be playing careful here. I really need that. I really, really need that. Okay, and we are out of here. Ignore that guy. Ignore the spaghetti. Thank you very much. Good night. Okay. I love the idea of, like, putting a bunch of, like... well, I'm not the one planning the satanic flags, but Satanic Mario. So I was kind of, like, a little bit brainwashed as a kid because I was very reactionary to what was going on to the world, and I thought I had an impact on it. And what I mean with that is that at some point, you know, with the video game satanic scapegoating, I was kind of dragged into that. And I thought that all video games were satanic no matter what, okay? And I used to have this NES game called Section C, and I'm not making this up. I threw it in the trash because I thought it was, like, evil. Alright. Because I was like, I'm gonna make a difference, alright? And then, like, a day after, I'm like, you know, maybe I'm a dumbass. Surely not. How did you really need? You know, screw this, screw this. Oh, damn it. Hey, there's some stuff underneath here. That's the big coin. Nice job. Okay. Joey's not immune to propaganda. Dude, I was... How old? Okay, there's another one here. Probably opens up some sort of secret. You might still be a dumbass for other reasons. Oh, I'm not claiming I'm smart. I'm saying I'm a little smarter, but that doesn't still make me smart, you know? Surely there's something behind this waterfall. I mean, come on. Wait, hang on, logic. Oh, okay. I didn't press the button? Well, that button is pressed, which means that the other one... you're probably right. No, it's going. Okay. Listen, Cozy Condom was fucking... He was ripping fucking soundtracks back in the day. He still composes for Mario, right? He isn't like Charles Martinet, who they like sentenced to work at Wendy's. Be like, hey, you know, Yahoo, Wahoo, all that shit. Remember me? I'm Charles Martinet, and I work for Fiverr now. Grandma dead? Would you like a Super Mario Yahoo to make you feel better? Okay, I pressed everything, but I'm guessing it's up here instead. He only does like 1-3 songs per game. I think that guy has enough Nintendo bucks to like never needing to work again. I think working for him is more like a hobby at this point. I think that's like literally the definition of like Shigeru Miyamoto. Like that guy wakes up every morning and he's like, I'm just gonna do some gardening. Oh shit, what's that? Pikmin. Alright, I'm gonna stand over here and pick up my shots. Love a chain gun right about now. I don't know if I have enough bullets to kill this Cacodemon. Probably do, and I also gotta start avoiding a bunch of stuff coming my way. I'm standing behind this tree. It wouldn't be a Doom stream without me on the cusp of death constantly. Holy shit! Oh, fuck. So why did Charles Martinet retire again? I know he's like, you know, a little older now. You know, I want to like move to Florida, all that stuff, but old. That can't be it. Still sounds great, man. I don't think so. I think it sounds great. Alright, there we go. Can I get a triple kill? Ah. Okay. They reuse clips a lot. Probably should use the shotgun for this, but you know, it'll do. There you go. Now we're talking. Guys, I'm really invested in this one. I really like it. But we're meant to play other stuff too. Nothing behind the house. Alright. This is badass. Joel, you did not just call Koji Kondo Cozy Condom, did you? No. There's no evidence of that. Yeah, this is a badass one. Maybe we can get to a boss or something, and then we can move on. My house. Let's go to the shop. What's up? Hello, Svetty. Oh shit, sup, Crash? Oh, Crash from fucking Quake 3? Okay. It's been a long time since our last deathmatch session. Okay. You're right. Anyway, I'm selling useful stuff for your mission. Wanna check it out? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's see. 100 heart for 100. Oh, okay, I got enough cash. Do that. What was Zella music? Someone said, it's time for your daily goon session. Guys, type 1 if you think Doom Guy is a gooner. Alright? If you heard of Doom, get ready for Goom. Alright, let's get some shells. And I have... Okay, that's all my money. Thank you. You need 15 because to upgrade your weapon. Oh, okay. I got the Golden Deagle. Do people still call the Desert Eagle the Deagle? Or is that like saying the word camping? You're a camper. They do. Okay, good. See, the old ways haven't been forgotten.
Só vou verificar lá se era isso aqui mesmo que eu tenho que colocar. Pô. Crass. Celularzio. É isso mesmo.
Okay, so that's the Green Plains. Actually, let me see if this goes beyond. Yes, it does. Okay. Yellow Skull Key Palace. Okay, let's get this. Oh, shit! Wait, hang on. The world map I'm on, it's not actually world, is it? Oh, this is awesome. Get that dopamine. It feels like I'm playing Balatro again. Okay. I also had this thought of like time traveling to like back to 92 when this was in development, and I'll show Carmack this, be like, this is what graphics is gonna be in 2025. Alright, Carmack, I know I strapped you down to a chair here and you got the duct tape over your mouth going but let me tell you something, you have to see what your graphics eventually turn into. Look at this, look at the texture filtering, look at the free look, man. This is video games. Okay. So then I want to time travel to the 1800s and give a Victorian child some pop rocks. What the fuck? What? Dude, that would kill them. Okay? No, don't do that. Why am I saying don't do that like it's actually gonna happen? Okay, it's a little dark in here, but it's fine. I can see through the darkness. This is what it looks like in Sweden during winter time. It's just nothing but black. Okay. I hate these guys, man. Stop it. Oh yeah, assault rifle. Here we go. All right. I always feel that the chain gun in Doom was... Oh my god, Crusher! I knew it. I fucking knew it. I always felt the chain gun in Doom was a little weak. Like, it's a minigun, right? And the rate of fire is like...
The forbidden Sonic Mario makeout from Brazil. An animation so cursed it may have ended the second Nintendo console wars for good. In 2016, one Brazilian man had had enough. He set out to put a stop to the 90s console wars the only way he knew how, with hot, sweaty, terrible animation. But his creation quickly took on a life of its own, becoming a wildly cursed meme whose popularity nobody saw coming. So what makes this cartoon that bad? Why do Twitter users recoil in fear at its mere mention? And how are these things always coming from Brazil? This is the legend of the Sonic Mario makeout GIF. Today's art history lesson, gay animation from the 1800s and memes from Brazil. If you were online in 2016, you probably remember a very different version of the internet. Deep-fried irony was all the rage, and we seemingly couldn't get enough of the Shrek-Sonic Mpreg crossovers, which brings us to this. That year, one meme in particular struck at the core of irony-poisoned Vine users. An animation so bad, it wrapped all the way around and became amazing, developing a cult-like surge in popularity. The Mario Sonic makeout GIF. And if you haven't seen it, it goes something like this. For several paralyzing seconds, you witness Sonic and Mario in a frenzied, passionate embrace as they kiss and, it's implied, go on to do other stuff. And several things probably jump out at you. For one, it's very weird looking. And for two, it's not clear that anybody involved is enjoying themselves. Although their body language is pretty compelling, it's hard to overlook how utterly soulless their expressions are. And you may be thinking, well, obviously this is bad ironically, but the real reason is actually way funnier, and it has a lot to do with how this was animated, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, a quick meme history. It all went down in early 2016 at an animation workshop somewhere in Brazil, where artist Pedro Menos, also known as Menos Play, was in attendance. And you may have seen online that this actually took place in 2010, but that's because there is virtually no accurate information about the origin of this GIF or when this workshop took place. So I got in touch with the artist himself, and here's what he had to say.
I remember making this in 2015. It was not 2010. We were making the anthology of shorts.
The purpose of this workshop was to get a whole bunch of artists in a room to create an anthology of animations that would all be shown together. But Pedro was there on a mission. He had the console wars on his mind. And what better way, he thought, to unite these two disparate fan bases than by taking their two most cherished mascots and making them touch each other. And before we get any further along the timeline, there's some really wacky South America Mario lore you should know. Because for reasons unknown to anybody alive today, Mario x Sonic was weirdly popular in South America in the 2010s.
Vai de drive, define valor. O motorista parceiro aceita. Drive, preço justo, jogo justo.
Oh my God, no. So, what is yaoi? It goes a little bit deeper than you think. To sum it up in an ad-friendly way, it's any kind of narrative media, anime, manga, books, movies, featuring two men being really good friends. According to this 2006 article, the term originated in the 1970s as a combination of multiple phrases whose meaning ultimately boiled down to pointless. This is because the genre itself largely started as porn without a plot. But that changed over time, and by the 90s, it was largely known as media about men written by and for women. There's a lot of emphasis on romance, with the heavy stuff, in many cases, being a total afterthought. And as for Mario and Sonic, no amount of irony is going to save you from the fact that Mario x Sonic is a real pairing with a real history and a real popularity in South America in the previous decade. While it's not generally common, it does exist, and even Archive of Our Own, a staple of the fanfic community, contains no fewer than 104 stories about Mario and Sonic exchanging something. And jokes aside, this isn't that shocking. Sonic has a long and storied history of inspiring many OCs, self-inserts, in more than one sense of the word, and tons of fan art. But Mario is a weird choice. So weird, in fact, that Shigeru Miyamoto himself asked people to stop drawing him. But nobody cared, and that brings us back to this GIF.
There is this thing, Sega and Nintendo are competitors. Mario and Sonic are people liberating themselves from the Sega and Nintendo and living the life they always wanted to live.
And as you can imagine, Pedro's plan involving Sonic and Mario peacefully putting their differences aside had the exact opposite effect. On February 23rd, just days after Pedro anonymously uploaded his animation online, Vine user Chris Person reposted it to the then popular video sharing platform.
I posted it, and the next day, the thing explodes. No one knew I did it.
And to say it blew up was an understatement. As of the time of recording, it has almost 10 million loops, with innumerable reposts on GIF sites and YouTube. And the reason isn't surprising. 2016 was a very edgy time, and it was common for people to take cherished childhood characters and put them in edgelord adult situations, and then insist you were the weird one for finding it objectionable, since it was obviously ironic. There was really just something about the Shrek, Mario, Sonic triad that had a grip on people's minds that year. Between 2016 and 2018, the recognizable characters, the timing, and the virality these short vines could attain meant there were many corners of the internet where this animation was absolutely impossible to avoid. And to touch on a much more obvious question here, why does it look like that? During the animation workshop, Pedro was handed a black and white film whose origin I have not been able to trace, and even he himself has no idea where the movie's from, and told to draw cells over top of it. This style is called rotoscoping, and it's been around since the late 1800s. You've definitely seen it in things like Smiling Friends, Joel Haver, and those very elaborate dance sequences from old Disney films. So we're keeping the tradition alive here. And as for the glaring disconnect between their bodies and their facial expressions, part of the reason rotoscoping never caught on is because tracing over real-life footage does not good animation make. The best animation tends to use tons of visual shorthand that doesn't exist in real life, and rotoscoped art often looks very deliberate and awkward. So trying to draw Sonic's face on top of live footage of a real human woman and making it look consistent is incredibly hard. So it was much easier and funnier to give them both this terrifying vacant expression. And the two of them may have really been in love and just super locked in. We'll never know. But one thing we do know, increasingly, is that Brazil is a meme powerhouse. While their meme culture is probably different from what we have in the English-speaking internet, their shitposts go crazy. Some of the best-known memes of all time are Brazilian in origin. 2 Girls, 1 Cup, Ricardo Milos, Come to Brazil, that dancing dog we were all obsessed with a few years ago. The list is endless, and the way their memes percolate is fascinating. Brazil's meme economy is much more oriented towards WhatsApp, so memes tend to get blasted out into the atmosphere via mass forwards from group chats, meaning they lose touch with their source material much more completely than they do over here. And that partially explains why it was so difficult to obtain any solid information on the origin of this GIF. Amazingly enough, it doesn't even have a Know Your Meme page. And while it's not clear to what extent WhatsApp may have popularized this meme, as it seems to be a largely US phenomenon, it would be shocking if it wasn't at one point mass forwarded on this app. And all that said, it's mind-blowing how influential this little-known animation ended up being. It goes without saying this inspired a ton of fan art. Now, was it ironic given the time period and the subject matter? Almost certainly yes, but people nevertheless put a lot of effort into this. So much so that in 2018, YouTuber and artist Figburn led the charge on a massive animated collab, recreating the Take On Me music video featuring just different versions of Sonic and Mario making out sloppy style. And the legacy is clearly not over, because in 2023, YouTuber Quite purchased one of the original cells on a live stream for $4,000 US. And if you want to get your hands on one, a ton of them are still up for auction. If you want to reach out to Pedro himself, his Twitter is linked in the description. And as for the artist responsible for this all, Pedro Menos is a game dev and digital artist who maintains an online presence to this day. He regularly posts new work on his Instagram and Twitter, and while his current work doesn't really look anything like his original joke post, he's a genuinely talented artist whose impact on meme culture is only now being fully appreciated. The amount of meme spin-offs, animations, fan art, and cultural references generated by this single joke animation is genuinely staggering. Pedro Menos is truly the one guy who made Brazil come to us.
Basicamente, o cara fez imagem conhecida que ficou muito famoso.
This has been an art history lesson. So, quick announcement for anybody who watched to the end. I know this one is a little bit shorter than usual. I know it looks a little bit different. I changed my lighting setup, and frankly, I'm much more happy with it, but you'll let me know what you think. And also, I was thinking of setting up a Patreon because I have to censor a lot in these videos, and I feel like it's kind of losing the full experience, and it's a really hard balance between staying monetized and actually...
Esse canal aqui é muito bom, velho. Wang. Esse maldito aqui prendeu na alfinete.
Seja qual for o seu projeto ou estilo, mostre para o mundo com o domínio da Hostinger.
Comics, as a medium, have often been used throughout time to make commentary on life and society, while drawing the reader in with amazing, fantastical stories. Spider-Man, for example, functions as a metaphor for puberty, and a boy struggling with changes his body goes through at Peter Parker's age. You got X-Men, which addresses bigotry and through the struggles of the mutants mirrors the real-life civil rights movement. And then, there's the Zootopia abortion comic, which is about abortion. So for today's episode of Tales from the Internet, let's take a look at the Brazilian comic artist William Borba's modern classic, I Will Survive.
Abortos Utopia.
This video is sponsored by Matchmasters. Matchmasters is a game for your mobile devices in which two players compete head-to-head to match pieces on a board and get the highest score. There's a lot of powerful boosters, exciting game modes, and different ways to strategize and win. Matchmasters is a lot of fun to play with friends, but it also has special themed solo game modes. Alright, so what I want to do here is get enough points to get to that next level before my turns run out. This rookie cop Judy Hopps, who finds herself in an unlikely partnership with a sleazy con artist fox, Nick Wilde. And Zootopia, probably more than any other animated film I've ever seen, is striking in the sense that it feels like it's specifically made for furries. Like, there's an appeal for furries with anything that would have anthro characters, and there's some characters that furries have latched onto throughout time, like Sally Acorn, for example. But this one, to me, so clearly had them in mind. I mean, when this one came out, people, and I'm talking like non-furries, were quick to point out how uncomfortably thick Judy Hopps' design was. It gave her a touch of that Pixar mom ass. And past that, the style just looks like furry art. I mean, yeah, it's anthro characters, but not all anthro characters look like furry art. It's kind of hard to articulate, but I'm sure you know exactly the style I'm talking about. Like, if you had a furry artist draw a rabbit, it's not going to look like Bugs Bunny. Like, even if it's not a sexualized drawing, it's still going to have that furry style. And then you got one of the main characters being a fox. I don't know what it is. It seems like 99% of furries, they're either wolves or foxes. And then you also have some scenes like the one with the giant Judy Hopps that furries seem to think is made with them in mind. But probably the most clear evidence is the acknowledgement of the furry community, and even directly marketing towards them, with furry meetup groups being asked to post about the film in exchange for merch. A far cry from the days where animators were less than enthused about the furry community. And this embrace of furries has left Zootopia with a far more active online fan community than many other similar animated films. And when you have such an active online community, you're going to get things like the infamous Zootopia abortion comic. So you have this Brazilian artist, Borba. Borba had been a professional illustrator for decades, and he had a deviant account art for fun. You can look into the account and you see that most of his work has more of a classic comic book style. In fact, he had long maintained the rule to not produce fan art. In part because he was worried about potential copyright issues, but also he believed that doing fan art betrayed a lack of creativity. And one thing you can say about him, we got no lack of creativity here. But in 2016, after the release of Zootopia, he felt compelled to break his fan art embargo. Partially because of how much he loved the film, but also because he felt inspired by pieces that other people made, both in the style and in how they used comics to tell new stories with these characters. And thus, throughout 2016, Borba begins to make his own short comedic Zootopia comics, such as one where Nick pranks Judy by sneaking up on her, only to get scared he accidentally killed her. The comics are pretty simple and well drawn, and people seem to like them. But now that he's gotten his feet wet in the fan art side of things, he wanted a new challenge. He wanted to make a more dramatic Zootopia comic. Thus, from March to May of 2017,
Vocês vão se traumatizar agora mesmo.
Bora begins to publish pages of his comic, I Will Survive. A black and white fan comic that...
Sim, esse é o quadrinho sobre aborto do Zootopia.
Flexes all the technical prowess of his several decades experience
Eu não sabia que era brasileiro.
in a story about abortion in the Zootopia world. It begins with Judy in the bathroom
Sério, é
looking at a
muito bom.
pregnancy.
Tem até referência à morte do John F. Kennedy nesse quadrinho. Tem referência a muita coisa.
Test, which turns out to be positive. So she struggles to wake up Nick and give him the bad news, which he thinks is a prank at first. Of course, the elephant in the room, how does a fox get a rabbit pregnant? That should not be physically possible. Granted, we are talking about a world in which talking animals have jobs as police, so I guess you can't really pick and choose where the line of what is and isn't realistic is. At the very least, the writer and director of Zootopia have remained open to the possibility of interspecies breeding in interviews.
There's a general sexual objectification of Shakira's character, but because she's a celebrity. But is that okay? Like, if in a sequel, could Nick and
You know, I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Better than okay. Well, it's like it's like our own world. I think it feels like it's a very open-minded society. It feels like animals fall in love. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I think so. Who are we to judge? So then, could Nick and Judy have a romance? Then we could.
What would their kids be?
Funnies? Funny. Or boxes?
Once Nick realizes that Judy is telling the truth, he's actually really happy about it, much to Judy's surprise and dismay. Judy does not want this baby, prompting a several pages long argument, and also an explanation that they didn't use protection because of how rare interspecies births are. Judy also worries that the mixed baby might be some kind of freak, or that it might be too big for her. Just a little fox baby bursting her at the seams like O.J. Simpson's glove. She also worries about her career, so Nick is like, oh, you would kill our baby for your career? Leading to probably the most iconic image in this comic. The smack. So Nick...
Não. Essa não é mais icônica, não.
Really happy about it, much to Judy's surprise and dismay. Judy does not want this baby, prompting a several pages long argument, and also an explanation that they didn't use protection because of how rare interspecies births are. Judy also worries that the mixed baby might be some kind of freak, or that it might be too big for her. Just a little fox baby bursting her at the seams like O.J. Simpson's glove. She also worries about her career, so Nick is like, oh, you would kill our baby for your career?
Essa aqui é a cena mais icônica. Não a do tapa. A anterior ao tapa.
Leading to probably the most iconic image in this comic. The smack. So Nick packs his bags and starts to leave. Nick asks what would have happened if Judy's mother decided to abort her, and then he pleads one last time. For God's sake, Judy, give this unborn child the opportunity to do the same. I beg you, please let your light continue to shine through him or her. But her mind's already made up.
Não, sério, eu gosto. Tem uns memes muito bons com essa imagem. Vai, abre. Abre a imagem. P is the store in the balls. Tem muitas variações disso. The beast called this powerhouse of the cell. Burro. O entendi. Oh. Party your cousin in the house tonight. Porra, que caralho. Não, pera aí. Spoiler do álbum lá, ó. Pipe. Não, pera, eu tive uma ideia muito merda. Mas que ela vai pra frente.
Up. And as Judy tries to get Nick to stay, he notes that she should have lied about the abortion. So he leaves with cuts on his face and a tear in his eye. Where's she going? Don't worry.
Pera. Copy. Vocês vão ver isso durante as gameplays também. Aqui não. Mas vocês vão ver isso durante a gameplay de Bully agora, ó. Aqui assim no cantinho da tela. Tecnicamente posso fazer ainda mais uma lateralzinha aqui com outra imagem disso. Será que devo? Nah. Tá bom assim.
I will survive.
He said it! He said it!
He walks out the door and Judy is left with the final narration. Nothing lasts forever. Even an apparently everlasting love that has triumphed over the odds, and many challenges may eventually come to an end. So he posts this, and at first he gets the normal kinds of comments you might expect on this sort of thing on DeviantArt. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it, some people were surprised that it ended where it ended. But it's not until December that this comic breaches containment and starts to spread elsewhere online, where an amazed non-furry public learns of the Zootopia abortion comic. It's going viral with commentary, memes, the obligatory lost and whatnot edits, perhaps most popularly an edit of the comic in which Judy and Nick are distraught over Arby's closing down. It's not that furry pregnancy art isn't commonplace. I mean, we've all seen...
Flash tem toda a segurança jurídica e aceita em milhões de lugares. Legal, né?
Seen that drawing where Shrek is pregnant with Batman's baby and the baby is Sonic the Hedgehog. We've all seen that. But this sort of stuff is usually just, relegated to the realm of quick MS Paint doodles. Not professional art with lengthy, in-depth dialogue that gives serious thoughts to all sides of a real-life hot-button political issue, in which real cartoon Disney animals have abortions. And what adds even more fuel to the fire, now you have people saying that this is a pro-life comic by a Christian fundamentalist who is using Zootopia to propagandize. Thus, by December, Borba's comments filled with pages upon pages of earnest debate on the abortion issue. Once again, inspired by a comic in which the rabbit from Zootopia gets an abortion. Borba, of course, rejected their analysis. Hello, I've seen this comic before, and I'm informed that your comic became popular because some people claim this comic is pro-life. Is this true that you and/or this comic is pro-life? The answer is negative for both sides of your question, and he would later clarify in a more detailed blog post. About my Zootopia fan comics. There are many stories created by fans telling about the life of Judy and Nick beyond the film. Several of them, both fanfic and fan comic, occur in dystopian-like alternate universes, or talk about police mysteries. There are also those sweet and gentle stories that show our furry heroes in a cheerful and carefree family life. Well, from the beginning, when I started to create the series of fan comics about Zootopia, I decided I'd stay away from these kinds of plots. Besides, I wanted to make stories that were really different from the others. It would not make sense for me to create stories similar to those that have already been made. I wanted something with my brand, my way of seeing things, no matter how much it cost me. The main reason that led me to create these stories is fun. Mine and those who, for some reason, like them. I did not create them to run for the Pulitzer Prize or the Nobel of Literature, nor to be transformed into TV series or to get to the big screen. Fun. Capisci? This is the best part of being a fan. The ability to create stories about your favorite characters without any concern for canons, headcanons, and the fuck. But what guided me was mainly the following question. What if? This question was the basis of everything related to Zootopia I did so far. Take a look. 1. What if Nick decided to prank Judy on Halloween? Night Howler's effect. What if Judy wanted to use makeup? ZPD's night party. What if Stu weren't Judy's father? Hop's family ties. What if Judy gets pregnant but she didn't want the baby? I'll survive. Well, I think you figured it out. Still, Borba's insistence that he was just presenting a scenario and not trying to push any sort of agenda went largely ignored. And although he enjoyed the memes people made, losing control of this narrative annoyed him. At first, he responds with the parody comic entitled Whatever. Nick, I'm pregnant. I don't want this child. Yeah, whatever. And that probably should have been the end of it. After all, at first he insisted this was just going to be a one-off like all of his other Zootopia comics. But by 2018, he had changed his mind and decided to make a full-on sequel to this comic entitled Born to Be Alive. A year has passed since the first comic, and now a drunken Nick who had quit the police force has come crawling back, banging on Judy's door. He ignores her threats of arresting him, and she lets him in after a vague suicide threat, a ruse that he quickly drops. Didn't I tell you, Fluff? I will always survive. Always. Just like the title again. Judy confirms that she did have the abortion, and Nick breaks down, begging for her to take him back. And during this breakdown, we get a glimpse into the past year with Nick's dealings with prostitutes, who, by the way, the prostitutes would get their own side comic by Borba. Ultimately, though, Judy could not forgive Nick for walking out on her during such a time of need, especially since the procedure apparently went badly. Nick pleads and grabs onto Judy's arm, hurting her in the process, mirroring the original where Judy had smacked Nick. And a lot of people who interpreted the original comic as being pro-Nick homed in on that scene, making him seem like the good guy. So I guess this scene in this comic was Borba's way of being like, no, actually look, see, now Nick is bad. So all this commotion in the apartment wakes someone up. The big reveal, it's Judy's new lover, another fox, a lady fox. That's right, Judy Hopps is now a lesbian. We also learned that apparently Judy was the first rabbit in all of history to get an abortion. And it was during this historical hospital visit where she met her new partner, Shade the Vixen. Nick can't believe it. You're not like that, Judy. You're just fooling yourself. Please dump this Leslie and get back to your true self. Don't you
Homophobia. Furry.
You dare call her that. In his anger, Nick shoves Shade to the ground, hurting her before Judy ends his rampage and kicks him out once and for all. Now, with Nick gone, the black and white art turns to color and everything is all good now. The end. Reading this comic, I could just picture Borba sitting there day in and day out, watching his comments. Every single one annoying him more than the last, until he's finally like, fuck it, I gotta do this. It's a piece that very, very obviously only exists as a response to the original, even going so far as referencing the Arby's meme, and taking great care to make Nick now seem like the bad guy, obviously to address the criticism that Nick came across too sympathetic.
Quando você conecta seu alarme Verisure, sua casa fica protegida contra roubo. Protegemos todos os acessos à sua casa, com sensores avançados em portas e janelas para detectar o ladrão antes que ele entre. E em caso de intrusão,
Pathetic in the original, which of course sabotaged his attempt to appear neutral. Although now it seems that perhaps he went too much in the other direction. But in any case, he did manage to succeed in getting some people to reconsider his intentions with the original comic. Thing is though, although this comic got some play within the online Zootopia fandom, it largely went ignored by the outside world. If Borba really wanted to regain control of this narrative in the mainstream like he wanted to, he would have to go a little bit bigger. He needed something that would capture people's imaginations like the Zootopia abortion did. And this next thing he comes up with, it did work a lot better. Let me tell you, once he released this
Zootopia. Tentativa de assassinato de F. Kennedy.
I got so many messages of people telling me like, yo, you have to see what the Zootopia abortion guy did now. I did not get that for the second comic, but I did get that for the third comic, which is now a part of what he refers to as the Trilogy of Life. So part 3 of this story, Never Say Goodbye, releases over the course of late 2021. This one features full color illustrations and goes far, far into the future. Nick is now some sort of scoutmaster, and while he's out with the scouts, we learn that Judy is now the mayor of Zootopia. Nick and Judy see each other, and presumably they haven't seen each other since the second comic. And they have a cordial conversation as their security detail looks on like a bunch of sourpusses. The kids are impressed that Nick used to know the mayor, and Nick actually does have his own kid now. In the course of this conversation, we also learn that apparently there's a radical group fighting against her re-election because of her push for mammal equality. And we can tell that these are bad guys because we see them piling over ram skull flags. Because of course there's Nazis in the version of Zootopia that also has abortions. So then Shay turns up with Judy's kids, a little baby fox, and a zebra that at first I thought was supposed to be like handy capable or something because of the way they drew him. I mean, he's all cockeyed with a big bulbous head. He's all fully grown but having his hand still held. I don't think he's supposed to have a syndrome of some kind though. I think that's just how Borba drew him. But in any case, Nick apologizes to Shay. Shay accepts the apology. Nick and Judy promise to stay in touch with each other, and after everyone's all caught up, it's a big happy ending. Nick and the kids go off to the amusement park. The end. Of course, that's not where the story really ends. Warning. Starting on Sunday, October 10th, the 8 extra pages of Never Say Goodbye will be published here on DeviantArt. However, as some people may find the content controversial, or even get offended by it, I would strongly recommend these people not to read the extra pages. If you liked what you read in this comic so far and do not want to see anything controversial or offensive, stick with the 27 pages already published and avoid reading or even seeing the extra pages at any cost. You have been warned. William Borba. The extra pages begin in black and white. Judy and Shay are in a suspiciously familiar looking convertible car with the top down, flanked by heavy security detail. I feel like you guys know where this is going. And then, crosshairs. They do the JFK assassination on Judy Hopps. I can't help but think that Borba saw that furry drawing, the one that I talked about in the God of Furries video, where a God furry causes Franz Ferdinand to get assassinated. I can't help but think he saw that and was like, yo, actually, that's a pretty good idea. So, and after Judy has been sniped on the grassy knoll, we see the culprits. A fascist elephant disguised as a bear, and a communist bear disguised as a donkey. And they proceed to squabble amongst themselves as the cops take them. This is some real biting political commentary over here. On one hand, this feels like he's trying even harder to prove his neutrality to the audience. But then on the other hand, it kind of feels like he's just telling everyone who read too much into his original comic to go fuck themselves. Also, it should be noted, there's a twist to this that when people reposted the Judy Hopps thing, tended to not get reposted along with it. After they get arrested, we find out that the sniper rifles were actually full of cherry jam and not bullets. Cherry jam that the handy-capable zebra proceeds to lick off of Judy's head. I know a lot of people heard about this and thought, oh, like Judy is dead in the Zootopia abortion comic universe. What a horrible thing. So understand that in the Zootopia abortion continuity, Judy is in fact still alive, just sticky. And with this trilogy having come to a conclusion, Borber said that he's now done with Zootopia comics. For now at least, unless he feels like it again. But he also promised to do a remake of the trilogy into one single long comic, with more pages, as well as sounds and animations. He also promises that this one will be a lot more dramatic, because he felt that the original Zootopia abortion comic was too comedic. Anyway, that's all for the story of the Zootopia abortion comic. The 2014 World Cup was one of the most shocking events in sports.
Não tem nem o que falar sobre isso.
History. Now, you guys know that I'm not really a big sports guy, but I can get into soccer a bit every 4 years. I remember it so clearly. I'm sitting down in a German beer garden in Queens. I'm seated at a table in the corner with a bunch of my friends. Steins overflowing with beer, plates full of Jaeger Schnitzel. The World Cup is on the TV, and none of us were ready for what we would see. The Brazilian team is defeated in the finals in their own country. Not even close. They're completely blown out of the water. They lose 8-1, beaten by, of all teams, North Korea.
8-1? No. Oh.
What do you mean that that's not what happened? Germany beat Argentina in the finals. And North Korea hasn't been in a World Cup since 2010, in which they only scored 1 goal. Could I have possibly been bamboozled? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of how a Brazilian blogger trolled millions of people around the world, as well as several news agencies, all by pretending to be North Korea.
E essa foi a segunda vez que o cara fez isso durante a Copa do Mundo. Mas sei que vocês já conhecem essa história aí. Cala a boca, Galvão!
Outside of a small handful of uncontacted tribes, North Korea is probably the most mysterious place on Earth. The flow of information both in and out is so tightly controlled by the government. And most of what gets over here is so fraught with information it has to get corrected a million times. I mean, just think about how often we hear that Kim Jong-un is sick or dead or dying. And of course, such an atmosphere of misinformation makes it a prime target for trolls. And perhaps no one has ever done a better job of this than a Brazilian.
Primeira vez que eu vejo assim, pessoa assim de internet falar, óbvio, 90% das notícias sobre a Coreia do Norte são mentira.
Brazilian blogger named Sid Sidoso. So currently, Sid is an extremely popular Brazilian Twitch streamer, but previously he was best known for his blog Now Salvo. Now Salvo is a collection of comedic articles and videos created by Sid, and it would often recruit his audience to participate in certain tasks. For example, you had one that was about getting a nerd out of the friend zone, and then you had another where readers had to think of something where they would be the only Brazilian in the world doing it at any given moment. Before the North Korea prank, his most notorious prank was the Cala Boca Galvão prank. So during the 2010 World Cup, you would sometimes see on Twitter the hashtag Cala Boca Galvão trending. Brazilians understood what this meant, but the tag would sometimes surface for foreigners who didn't. So Sid came up with a campaign to explain to foreigners what was going on here. Through a poster and a video narrated in English, it was revealed that the Galvão bird was a Brazilian species that was going extinct. And by just tweeting Cala Boca Galvão, which was said to mean Hail Galvão, 10 cents would be donated to the Galvão Institute. This, of course, being an organization whose goal was to preserve these birds. And it worked. The campaign was so successful that Cala Boca Galvão was trending for 14 days straight. But of course, there was no such institute. And Cala Boca does not mean hail. And also, there's no such bird as the Galvão. Galvão actually referred to a broadcaster, Galvão Bueno, who a lot of people found kind of annoying. And Cala Boca means shut up. So he had gotten thousands of English speakers to tweet at this guy they never heard of to shut up. All the while these people think they're just saving a bird. But it was his next World Cup prank that...
I used to start my workday by opening up 8 different apps. Project management, team chat, email, notes,
Shut the fuck up.
That would be the most far-reaching. On July 11th, 2014, a YouTube channel named Korea News Backup published a video showing that North Korea had completely blown their competition out of the water, beating Japan 7-0, USA 4-0, and China 2-0, winning their group stage. Now they would advance to the finals. Their first opponent, Portugal, who of course in reality had beaten them 7-0 in 2010. This video goes super viral with over 8 million views in just 3 days. People are seeing this and dying at how misinformed North Koreans are, because, you know, their government's feeding them all this fake news. The story gets picked up extremely quickly by news outlets, some of them mentioning in their reporting that this was most likely satirical or fake, while others initially reported that it was a real video but later corrected their articles to state that it was fake, and others were just fully convinced that this was a real thing that North Korea was telling its citizens. And on the surface, if you look at it, this channel looks to be a legitimate news channel. It has several months of what appears to be genuine but relatively unremarkable news from North Korea. News that would actually continue to be posted after this viral video. And then a few days later, on the 15th, a second North Korean soccer video would be released. This one reveals that North Korea had taken the whole World Cup, whipping Brazil like a government mule in their own backyard with a score of 8-1. It wouldn't be until July 24th, a couple weeks later, that Sid would finally come forward and take credit for the prank in an article and a video. In the article, he explains how it all came together. It was the newest entry in a series he had called Challenge Accepted. Funny enough, in the beginning of his article, he mentions another entry in the series, in which he mentions that his audience is helping him create the first scripted porn film written entirely on the internet. If you watch my channel, you know that he was actually beaten to the punch to this, because the decade prior, the Something Awful forums had written swap.avi, which is another topic that I covered on this channel. That being said though, the Brazilians were responsible for turning that dream into a reality, so I guess close enough. In any case, he notes that although he usually goes about these stunts very publicly, this particular prank made it necessary for him to work completely in secret. It begins with the creation of the channel Korea News Backup, which went a long way in selling this as a potential real thing. It had actually been created 3 months before the prank, and he wanted it to seem as if someone was intercepting a satellite signal from North Korea and uploading it to YouTube. So over the course of those months, they slowly uploaded legitimate North Korean news videos that they found. The videos were all from different sources and different time periods, but who's really gonna sit there and check all that just to verify a soccer video? And of course, neither Sid nor anybody he works with spoke fluent Korean like you would hear from a native, so we had to hire a voice actor. It was actually pretty difficult at first. He had gotten in touch with 5 different South Korean voice actors, and each of them refused because being in South Korea, they're worried about the ramifications of doing this. Finally, he wound up speaking to a person he had worked with on the Kalaboka Galvao campaign, Nando Pax. He recalled that Nando had a production company that worked in multiple languages. And sure enough, through this company, he was able to secure a Korean actor. Granted, he asked them to do a North Korean accent and they refused. And funny enough, some people who watched the video did notice that it was a South Korean accent. But for the overwhelming majority of viewers, South Korean was good enough. It was then up to his video editor, Davi, to make this thing convincing. Here's a Google translated account of all the things that went into it. There are some videos of North Korea national team games out there. Friendlies, the Asian Cup, old qualifiers, etc. There are some from state-owned newspapers in the country too. The big challenge was putting all of this together in a rough and journalistic tone. Yes, the parade had to look lame on purpose. That's how it is there. Looking like a newspaper from the 80s/90s was essential. Not to mention that the presenter's mouth should have a small delay, characteristic of satellite broadcasting copies. He'd also noted that in the section that shows North Korea fans losing their minds over Kim Jong-un, they had simply used fans of Chile because their flag has the same colors as North Korea, which I guess is a step up from hiring Chinese people to pretend to be North Korea fans. But with all of this work to put this thing together, you couldn't do all that and just gamble on whether or not it goes viral. And it's not like someone's just gonna randomly stumble upon Korea News Backup. And if they did do that, who's to say they're gonna sit there and actually watch the videos to find this clip? At the same time, if Sid, with his reputation, just shared it himself, it would be pretty obvious what was going on. So he put this task on a closed inner circle of Malsalvo readers that he called Zona. He describes them as being so good they can even discover the color of your mother's panties without you knowing it. He had them change their Twitter avatars to cleavage to be more attention-getting. Then he would have them tweet the video at people he described as the ones who would pay the most attention to something weird happening in a communist country. Every single one of their 7 main targets shared the video in some capacity. I'm also completely unsurprised to find that one of my friends, Brazilian YouTuber Izzy Nobre, is involved in this. Izzy was tasked with creating an English language Reddit thread about the video. This way, if someone was searching for it, they would now be under the impression that this story is going viral in the US. As he puts it, to Brazilians, if it's foreign, it's true. Ultimately, the first real news outlet to bite would be Metro, and from that point, it was only a matter of time as every site is just spinning every other site's reporting. Eventually, little by little, people would find little bits of evidence that the video wasn't legitimate, issues such as the accent, or that archival footage from a bunch of different time periods seemed put together haphazardly, but nobody was really fully convinced one way or the other whether or not it was real or fake. And the people who did think it was fake were attributing it to sources like 4chan or South Korean forums. Nobody, not a single person, suspected that it was Sid until he just came out and admitted it. Ultimately, it does make you wonder how many of the stories we hear about North Korea may be just as fake. I mean, you could basically hear any ridiculous thing that happened in North Korea and say, hey, I mean, it's North Korea, everything's crazy over there. Up is down and down is up. Believe anything you say about them. I swear, someone's gonna take this out of context and try to say I'm a North Korea apologist or something. Anyway, I want to give a big shout out to the viewer who put me onto this story, especially since I'm pretty sure this has never been fully covered in English. He's an indie game developer who goes by Vile Vidya. Check him out on Twitter and itch.io. Like many of Sega's console endeavors, the Dreamcast was a system well ahead of its time.
Você sabe que alguém já reconheceu sobre o que se trata, né? Isso aqui. Oh boy, I still love being at Dreamcast in Brazil. Nothing bad ever happens in Brazil.
Time. It was the first console released of the 6th-gen systems, beating PlayStation 2 and GameCube to market by years. It introduced the world to legendary titles like Shenmue, Jet Set Radio, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Seaman, among others. And perhaps most importantly, it was the first home console that was internet ready right out of the box. A ton was put into promoting its online play, such as a campaign with Limp Bizkit, including ads telling you to look out for Fred Durst, who, according to crazy-ass moments in nu metal history, was said to be really good at Quake 3. Also, Fred Durst autographed Dreamcast and go for a decent amount of money. Such an amazing console. Doesn't it get you excited? Maybe a little too excited? Well, it definitely did for one boy in Brazil. So for this episode of Tales from the Internet, let's talk about what I'm told is one of the most legendary internet stories to come out of Brazil. The boy who nutted it inside of his brand new Sega Dreamcast.
Tecnicamente que ele falou, o moleque, o fulano aí, ele ejaculou no videogame.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we're going back to Brazil. I think there's a tendency on the English-speaking side of the internet to just think of it as the whole internet and all of its famous stories like Swamps to Dagobah, Vagina Bacon, Hello My Future Girlfriend. But for every language there's internet stories that are just as infamous as any of those that we rarely if ever get to hear about. So my curiosity was piqued when a Brazilian viewer, Gustavo Costa, told me the story of the Brazilian Cum Dreamcast. Supposedly one of the Brazilian internet's most infamous stories. And when I spoke about this on stream, a number of Brazilian viewers corroborated that, yeah, everyone knows this story. So here we go, the story of a boy from Brazil named Leonam. And note that I have two different translations of the story that I'm working with here. They're different from each other in ways that are very subtle, but in some cases kind of important. I'm piecing it together to the best of my ability, but if I get something wrong with it, definitely let me know. This was originally posted in 2004 to forumsbr.hypermart.net. The original posts aren't on the Internet Archive, unfortunately, however, they've all been compiled together in a text document. The collection post begins with a disclaimer. Attention, this message has a little adult content. It is not recommended for females, avert your eyes ladies, or boys
Passagens a partir de R$19,99. Compre já em flixbus.com.br ou no aplicativo.
Alcance o sucesso online com a promoção do mês do consumidor da Hostinger. Criador de sites com IA da Hostinger por apenas
under the age of 11 who are likely does not have the knowledge required to understand the subject of the text. What's great about that is the boy in the story is 13, so it's like, yo, us 13-year-olds, we're grown up to talk about these kinds of things. You 11-year-olds, though, you're gonna have to wait till you're grown-ups like us 13-year-olds. It's the funniest text of my life. The worst thing is that Leonan is real, really. You'll see. The 13-year-old boy, Leonan, had received a Sega Dreamcast for his birthday. This was not even a month prior, and as he had said, he had done everything possible to get his parents to buy this for him. Then one day, he's playing a pirated version of Crazy Taxi. Finishes up, takes out Crazy Taxi, so he can replace it with the boot CD you need to play pirated games. But with the lid still open, suddenly everyone else goes out. He has the home all to himself, and so he gets an idea. Now's his chance. He's gonna go look at some naked ladies on the computer and rub one out. So he's standing in front of his computer looking at a website that he found on these very forums. He's doing his thing, and he gets to the point where he can no longer contain himself. He doesn't want to get anything on his monitor or his keyboard, though, that are right in front of him, so he quickly turns to the left. Unfortunately for Leonan, what is to the left of him is his still open Sega Dreamcast, which he promptly nuts inside of. At this point, he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. He cleans it up to the best of his ability, but that dry residue is just too much for that poor laser lens. That shit's not working anymore. So cry it is. Desperate for solutions, Leonan goes to the forum to see if anyone has any ideas about what he can do.
My mother is going to kill me when she finds out that paid 750 reals and I already broke it. It is on warranty, but how will I tell the men on the store? How will I clean the lens now? Help me please. I will never masturbate again in my life.
Unfortunately, since the original thread is an archive, we can't see people's responses. I imagine it was mostly just people laughing their asses off at him though. The next day, Leonan makes another thread. He rushes back home to check up on his Dreamcast. However, as soon as he gets through that door, his mother's already waiting for him with the Dreamcast on the couch, looking like what he describes as a general. She looks like she wants to kill him. He's sweating bullets at this point, and the first thing she says, "Leonan, what did you drop in this video game?" He asks her why, and she mentions that she brought it to the store, and when the guy opened it up, there was a white area of something. Something was spilled in there, which is not covered by the warranty, so he was shit out of luck. And the mother wanted explanations for why the
Eu tenho certeza que a garantia do videogame não cobre gozo.
System they had just gotten him for his birthday is already broken, as she also wanted explanations for why it smells like cheese. Actually, knowing what the mother didn't know, I also want explanations for why it smells like cheese. Like, what the fuck are they feeding this kid? His legs are shaking and he doesn't have any answers for her, so he runs back to his room and locks himself in. And from his room, he calls up Tech Toy. Tech Toy...
Antes aí de continuar o vídeo, eu vou fazer uma história meio estúpida minha. Mas quando eu tinha 2 anos, eu quebrei o aparelho VHS dos meus pais de uma maneira muito retardada. Eu não sei o que falar uma coisa de bebezinho assim, mas... Eu achava que o VHS sentia fome e que ele comia as fitas, porém vomitava elas, por ter, sei lá, um gosto ruim. Então eu tive a brilhante ideia de colocar pão de forma dentro do aparelho VHS, que obviamente parou de funcionar. Daí o técnico veio, abriu e encontrou o quê? Um monte de pão mofado, embolorado, dentro do aparelho VHS.
It being the company that distributes Sega consoles in Brazil, even having some Brazil-exclusive releases like a wide variety of special master systems. Leonan begins by assuring the Tech Toy representative that this is not a prank call, and he proceeds to tell him about how he nutted it inside of his Dreamcast. Of course, the Tech Toy representative dies laughing, and when he finally catches his breath, he tells him to not try to clean the lens himself, but to just take it back to the store, which of course, as we've learned, is not really an option, so Leonan is fucked. Also, he thinks at this point his parents figured out what really happened. His reason for this being that he's sure his mother knows what cum smells like, because on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week his parents bone all night. At this point, he's also considering just admitting the truth to his father, and he also laments that he didn't have a younger brother to blame this on. He finishes by asking if maybe he should try to clean the lens with alcohol or water or anything else they suggest. There are a few suggestions and a little bit of ribbing, which takes us to the third post. He begins by thanking two forum users, Eric and Francisco, for helping him, then goes on to make a confession.
Okay, as you are being nice with me, I got to confess something. I broke my promise. It is stronger than me. I did one when I was locked in my room. Sorry. This time I aimed right and I didn't hit anything.
He also mentions that the tech toy guy suggested trying to use one of those disc cleaner things. If you're unfamiliar, they're those discs that have those little brushes on them. When you run the console, it brushes away the dust and whatever particles. I've never found them to be particularly useful, and you're probably not surprised to hear that this did not clean up the dried cum. He also addresses a forum user named Lestat. Lestat mocked his poor jizz control and acted this was his first time. Leonin responded that this was not his first time. In fact, it was his 5th time. He also addresses people who are asking if they can come to his neighborhood and see if they can take a look at it. Which, thankfully, he realized that this was a really bad idea, so he's not doing that. He was also worried about some guy who is making a website documenting the whole thing. He also makes a reference that I'm not quite sure about.
I told my colleagues what is happening to me, and my class has even given me the nickname Gonzaguinha. You know why? That accordionist.
So I'm not familiar with Gonzaguinha, so I looked him up. And it turns out he died suddenly and tragically after being hit by a truck. Which, you know, might be applicable to the impending dread of this situation. But Gonzaguinha wasn't known for playing accordion. His father, Luis Gonzaga, was. I'm not sure if he got the guys mixed up or what. Because maybe the joke wasn't about the sudden death, but rather how it looks to play the accordion. Although, I don't know who, like, jerks off like they're playing an accordion. Ultimately, now he's looking for help not just with the Dreamcast, but how to deal with his parents.
I have to delete my computer's history because she checks everything. So it's thought if she enters this site and discovers everything. What a shame, and what a shit that I'm going to take. You may even think I'm childish, but I'm only 13 years old. I'm figuring things out now. It is by making mistakes that you learn. Do you think I was going to do this soon on my Dreamcast? Help is just what I need.
Then we get to the 4th and final post.
Guys, finally my terror came to an end. Thank God. I didn't get caught, but it was much worse, I swear.
Believing that his parents would eventually figure out what really happened, he takes his father aside.
I said, Dad, for the love of God, you swear if I tell you something you won't say to anybody. He said okay. I believed. So I closed my eyes and told him it was me who broke the video game. But it wasn't on purpose, I cummed on it. He laughed. Laughed till he cried. Then I said, I didn't mean it to happen. I'm really embarrassed right now, but that's how it happened.
His father scolded him a bit for visiting porn sites, but then he told him he had a way to fix everything. And then finally, after this going on for days, Leon could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He's sitting on bed, playing his Game Boy, then his mother walks in. Big smile on her face with his father in hand. And she says, Leo, me and your father have something we have to talk to you about.
You are turning into a grown boy. My ears started to get red. You are not a little kid anymore. Your body will have changes. Your voice will change. You are turning into a little teen. They didn't already told me the same thing on school. My mother said, when you want to do that, go to the bath so you won't get things dirty, and after you've done it, wash your hands so you won't get things dirty with it. Can imagine how I am right now.
But it doesn't end there. She calls all 6 of his aunts to let them know that their little boy is all grown up and jerking it. She also tells his grandmother, as well as the girl who works at the house who he notes is hot. Afterwards, he gets a phone call from his grandmother telling him that he has no morals and he has to stop this immediately or he's gonna burn in hell. And he notes that his family likes to gossip a lot, so by now all of his cousins definitely know, so he's not looking forward to seeing them again. Ultimately, his father takes the Dreamcast to the store to get repaired. They're charging 450 reals for just the lens. That's without labor costs. So for that price, Leonin considers just simply importing a Japanese Dreamcast. He says that's probably better anyway. Leonin, who's now traumatized by masturbation forever, leaves with these words of wisdom.
To old people on this forum who tried to help me, thank you. Do not masturbate close to video games. May break. This had to be in the manual of the device. Thanks, friends.
That's the story of the Brazilian cum Dreamcast. In 2016, the 31st Summer Olympic Games were held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Perhaps one of the most storied Olympic events ever. Not so much for the competition, the sportsmanship, or the athleticism, because, who really cares about any of that? It was storied because of what an absolute disaster this event was. An event often referred to as the Apocalypse. But of all the disasters tied to this event, perhaps the most elusive is one that would often come up on 4chan's paranormal board X, the Brazilian SpongeBob incident. The supposed Brazilian SpongeBob incident involved a broadcast intrusion that caused several people to poop their pants. So for today's episode of Tales from the Internet, let's take a look at what might be Brazil's equivalent to the Max Headroom incident. Despite allegedly occurring in 2016, the earliest reference I could find to the Brazilian SpongeBob incident was in 2018. A thread on X, Lost Media thread. Top 10 Lost Media, who are they? You have a lot of familiar items pop up in there like the Junko Furuta tapes, or Saki Sanobashi, but there are also quite a few less commonly known ones, including some that I was not familiar with at all. But it's one post in particular that sends a lot of people in the thread for a loop. A bunch of missing 9/11 footage that was seen and not seen before, the confiscated photos and films from Japanese filmmakers during Hiroshima and Nagasaki that are stored in an archive, a lot of Doctor Who episodes, the Brazilian SpongeBob incident that made people poop themselves to the point of needing hospitalization allegedly right before the Olympics. And they were so fascinated by it that another thread about just this was made the next day. And a few different people on both threads seemed somewhat familiar with the tale, although with similar but slightly different tellings. But here's the gist of what allegedly happened. Right before the Olympics broadcast in Brazil began, an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants starts to play. Some say that this was a broadcast error, like the time in 2007 that Comcast accidentally played hardcore porn on the Disney Channel.
How embarrassing.
Others say that this was a deliberate broadcast intrusion along the likes of the Max Headroom incident. And nobody seems to recall what episode exactly it was, although some have brought up Squidward's suicide, which is a supposed lost episode that, was just a part of some bullshit creepypasta. Others claim that it was a bootleg SpongeBob-like show, which was actually something pretty common in Brazil. Brazil being the home of such classics as The Little Panda Fighter, The Little Cars in the Great Race, and of course, who could forget, Ratatouille. But the episode that played isn't actually that important. What's actually important is that during this broadcast, what allegedly played was the Brown Note, not to be confused with the similarly titled Acacia Strain song. I'm talking about the supposed audio frequency between 5 Hz and 9 Hz that can't be heard, but it can be felt. And when you feel it, it makes you shit your pants. Thus you have everyone in Brazil at home getting ready to watch the Rio Olympics. All of a sudden SpongeBob comes on and they all shit their pants. But despite so many people in Brazil shitting their pants at once, almost none of the many Brazilian users of 4chan seem to remember this happening. Why could that be? You were too busy shitting your pants. Others claimed there was a concerted effort by the Brazilian media or government to cover up this story. I am Brazilian and can confirm. This were all over the news in Rio. I remember seeing news reports with Olympics representatives doing some major damage control. No clips of the episode shown though. But there are a few problems with this story. For starters, pretty much no TV is actually capable of producing this frequency. It's rare that a TV can produce anything lower than even 60 Hz. Now if you have a home theater system with very expensive audio equipment, you can get a bit lower, but generally not that low. Why would they? It's just not necessary because you can't hear it. Furthermore, even if they could generate this frequency, the consensus seems to be that the Brown Note is a myth. Throughout the years, many people, such as the Mythbusters, have attempted to make themselves shit their pants with this note. They tried out these low frequencies and failed. For the Mythbusters, there were other effects like feelings of nausea, anxiety, shortness of breath, but no poop. The same goes for experiments conducted by NASA. These ones didn't involve just listening to the frequency, it involved very low frequencies being sent directly to the body with vibrations. These subjects had similar complaints, nausea, anxiety, shortness of breath, but once again, no poop. It's commonly believed that the myth of the Brown Note originates from a satirical article in the December 1974 issue of New Science. The article describes the creation of an amplification device known as the colossophone.
engano, esse aqui é o último dessa perna aqui.
During the official inauguration of the device, Prince Albert amplifies the national anthem through the horn, causing the entire audience to shit themselves. Something that the prince believed to be a protest at the time. Although the article was, as I said, satirical, a lot of people just wound up believing it, and thus you have myth of the brown note entering the popular consciousness. All that being said, I don't think that the idea of the Brazilian SpongeBob incident just simply manifested itself out of nowhere in 2018. Although it's possible that X poster just made it up on the spot, I think it's more likely that this rumor was circulating around the time it was claimed to have happened. I had actually forgotten all about this until working on this video, which is pretty funny since I actually made a video on this topic back in the day. Think about the 2016 Olympics. They were such a massive disaster that they would often be called the Apocalyptics, just because of the sheer massive logistical and environmental and humanitarian disasters that occurred during it. You had things like living quarters with unfinished sinks that are holes that just go down to the lower floors, reporters getting mugged, Olympians' rooms getting robbed, fake recycling bins that empty out into the regular garbage, the Olympic diving pool being closed because the entire building smelled like farts, the airport getting flooded with shit water, hotels getting flooded with shit water, the water for the rowing event being flooded with shit, competitors shitting themselves. I think you get the gist. So with all the legitimate stories of what a disaster these Olympics were, many of the stories involving shit, it stands to reason that a few fake ones, whether it be as a joke or as a troll, materialize and work their way into the public consciousness. So no, the Brazilian SpongeBob incident was most likely not real, but it makes sense why people might have thought it was. Oh, another shit thing happened at the Rio Olympics? Sure, why not? But anyway, that's all for now. Have you ever wanted to poop in someone else's butt? A fecal transplant is a valid medical procedure that is sometimes employed to treat gastrointestinal issues, particularly colitis. It's caused by a bacteria called Clostridium difficile. I don't know.
Clostridium difficile.
Feces from a healthy donor is taken and implanted into the recipient in a colonoscopy, depositing the healthy feces into the colon, ideally restoring the balance of good bacteria to bad bacteria. But what if you just wanted to put poop in someone else's butt for the fun of it? Well, in 2004, users of the Something Awful forums crowdfunded such a spectacle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of Swap.avi.
Aí. Perna esquerda completado. fica por aqui. Tchau. Ô Izzy, sai desse armário. Você não vai entrar aí não. Você não vai entrar no armário. Não. Ó, que safada, querendo entrar no armário pra jogar meus bonés no chão. Você acredita nisso, ó? Safada. É uma safada muito bonitinha, né, ó. Vem aqui. Só deixa eu fazer uma coisa aqui. Aqui vai ser até ao vivo, ó. Vai tomar no cu, filha da puta. Tchau.